I'm Sean Lowe. I'm the mortgage broker here at Freedom Mortgage Solutions. Been in the industry for just over 22 years now. In my time, I've helped probably thousands of people either buy their first home, buy an investment property, refinance, debt consolidation, anything that involves having a mortgage over your property, that's where I get involved. What I love about what I do is seeing the smile on people's faces when they buy their first home. And I was part of that process for them, so I really enjoy that aspect of the role. Things change a lot in lending as well, so keeping on top of all the different niches, all the different sort of aspects of what people do for their career, their family life, getting involved in that, I really enjoy. So during my time as a mortgage broker, I've seen lots of different situations and challenges that are presented, lots of success stories out there, especially helping somebody buy their first home. To me, that's the goal. That's why I get up in the morning and do what I do. It's to help those people get into the property market because it is tough at the moment. Some of the challenges that you might come across, you get people that maybe have something wrong with their credit file. And so you've got to work out what you can do and which lender would be appropriate to get them into the property market or be able to refinance their loan, help them save money. So one specific situation that I've had recently was I had a client who separated from his wife and had issues on his credit file due to his wife's conduct. So nothing to do with him necessarily, but because it was a joint loan in their names, it's impacted both of them. We rerun the challenge. The lender came back and asked what they wanted. He then had to prepare a written explanation explaining the circumstances on that. And from that point, the bank saw the human element behind that, understanding it was out of his control, and they've approved the loan from now. So the way I operate myself is something that I got taught as a kid. So my parents instilled into me a system where you would save 50% of what you earn. Now, while you're living at home, it's easy to do. As soon as you move out of home, you've got your own expenses to cover. You've then obviously got to maybe scale that back. It might not be 50% of everything you earn, but the ability to be able to put money aside at a very young age, because while you're young, time is your best friend. There's so many people I see that are in their 50s who wish they had a conversation with somebody like me 30 years beforehand. So when you're starting out and you're trying to save for a home, for argument's sake, what you do from a young age will really just stay with you for the rest of your life. So personally myself, my philosophy, for want of a better word, would be to save as much as you can. And so many people say, where can I save money? It starts where you're spending money. So if you can spend less, and this is what we do in our own sort of family situation, if you spend less, you automatically are saving more. So focus on what you're spending your money on, not I need to save X amount per week or per month. So that's what we do. And from an investment point of view, we invest in ourselves and our education. So with my kids, they're now teenagers, I invest in their financial education. I'm teaching them the tips and tricks to better themselves, because I know at the age they are now, they'll need to have that education so that they improve themselves going forward. So working with me, I can be available to you, come to your house, meet you at your workplace, you can come into the office. Since the time of COVID, a lot of meetings are over the phone, via Zoom, Teams, whichever method works best for you, we can do it. And that makes me a lot more flexible than the bank are typically there 9 to 5. So a mortgage broker, we're there all the time. I suppose when you do meet with me, one thing you'll know really quickly is I do tend to talk a lot, but I like to explain things in a way that everybody understands. There's a lot of times you speak to somebody about finance or lending, and they talk in the jargon that the banks use, and it's not clear. So I try to make it as easy as possible for people to understand what it is that they're looking to do, what it is that I'm recommending in as simple a way as possible. So I suppose when you do come and see me, or I come and see you, the initial chat might take an hour and a half, and we'll go through what it is that you're looking to do, what's important, and then I can go back, do some research for you and work out what are the best options for you going forward. So I suppose one of the biggest questions I get at the moment, given the environment, is what's the best interest rate on the market? There's no such thing, because it really depends on your individual circumstances. So a lender that might have the cheapest rate that's published may not have the right credit policy that matches your specific circumstances. So you might have just started employment, you're on probation. There are lenders that don't lend to people who are on probation. So even though that lender may have the cheapest published interest rate, they're not going to accept your application because of your probation. And there's other circumstances as well. So it could be that you do have something on your credit report that maybe you weren't aware of. We go to a lender with the cheapest rate and they decline your application because there was something on your credit file. We're then forced to go to another lender, which may not have the most competitive rate, but they're going to get the loan approved. And that could be a band-aid solution to either get you into the market, to refinance your loan. When you get your situation back on track, we then move you back to a lender that has a cheaper rate. So that's probably why interest rates probably important, but not critically important. So another really popular question that I get asked is, how do I actually get paid? To you, the client, I don't charge a fee for my service. So I don't do this for free either. So what happens is I introduce you to a lender, and that lender will then, at the end of settlement, when settlement goes through, they pay a commission. So that's how mortgage brokers are paid. There are some brokers out there that may charge you an upfront fee just to do the preliminary sort of research. I choose not to. I look at this and go, if I can get you into a lender, I get that loan approved, it goes through to settlement, I then get paid for my work. If I can't get you to approval and therefore to settlement, it's not that I want to work for free, but I'm hopeful that the effort that I have put in, the work that I've done, shows you that I'm committed to making sure that this is suitable for you, and you might then refer me to your friends and family. And it works from there. So when I do get asked whether I do charge a fee, I don't. I can if I wanted to, but I choose not to, and that's the reason why. So do you have to use a mortgage broker? When I started doing this back in the early 2000s, less than 6% of all home loans were written through a mortgage broker. And that's because at the time, people saw a mortgage broker as their last resort. If you couldn't get a loan through your bank that you banked with for 20, 30 years, you went and saw a mortgage broker. Nowadays, it's over 70% of all loans are done through a mortgage broker. And it's because people want choice. The bank don't treat you that. The bank treat you as a number. Whereas going through a mortgage broker, it's you. You are a human being sitting in front of me. You're not just another number. I keep that relationship going with you long term. It's let's look at this again in 12 months time or 2 years time. Let's review. Your situation might change. You have kids. You get an inheritance. You want to pay down your loan. You want to look at buying an investment property. So the process of going through a mortgage broker is a relationship building process. It's not a transaction. And that's how banks treat you 9 times out of 10. You're a transaction. So should you use a mortgage broker? Absolutely. So what is it that a mortgage broker does on a daily basis? A lot of my day is obviously talking to my clients and making sure that they still have the right product in place for what they want to do. But a lot of my time is also keeping up to date with the different changes that the banks make. And these things can happen, they change all the time. I've got 30 different lenders on my panel, so I need to keep abreast of all the different changes that each lender, and then there's different product changes that happen as well. If I don't keep that information up to date, I could be missing an opportunity for a client. There might be a niche that I wasn't aware of, and if I'm not keeping myself up to date, I might say no to somebody when in fact we could have had an option for them. So doing that is critically important for what I do, and I do spend a fair bit of my day making sure that I am on top of that, so that when I meet with somebody, I know I'm giving them the most up-to-date information. So what will you need to prepare before we catch up, or what do I need to ask you to bring in or provide me with so that I can review your situation? So what I do is I'll have an initial chat with you over the phone, understand what it is that you're looking to do, and get a bit more information about yourself. Are you self-employed? Are you an employee of another company? Full-time, part-time, whatever that might be. Are you looking to purchase? Are you looking to refinance? So a lot of those questions that I ask are being asked so I know what documentation to ask you for. So before we ever meet in person, and so that we can have a proper chat about borrowing capacity, an educated conversation about which options are available to you, I'm going to send you an email with a list of documents, and it might be payslips, it'll be bank statements, it'll be things like your home loan statements if you're looking to refinance. It could be as simple as a rates notice which tells me what's the ownership of that property that you're looking to use as security for a loan. Without that information, We can have a catch up, you can tell me what you want to do, but I'm not going to be able to give you any concrete information or anything that's of substance. So I get that information, do a quick review, and then we catch up and go through it together.